In this video, we are going to be replacing and upgrading the torque converter in our Ram with the Cummins engine. This truck has a 68 RFE, and we're taking out a converter that's failed. I'll probably maybe put a video in here, but essentially what's happening is when you're driving and the torque converter should be locked up, on my Banks monitor, I'm actually seeing the torque converter value, that slip value, jump up. So as soon as I try to load it up, it should be in a fully locked state, and I'm seeing the torque converter slip value fluctuate. So converter is on its way out. The folks over at RevMax have hooked us up. They've got us set up with the stuff that we need to get the job done. And I'll show you guys the one that we're gonna be taking out and replacing this with. It's gonna handle anything that we can throw at it, towing, performance, all that stuff. So we'll show you guys the process. Let's get into it. So we got this big old girl up here on the lift. Our Danmar lift is holding it, but just for added safety, we've got our safety stands because this thing is massive on here. So we got Brett and Josh helping us out. Right now they've already pulled the drive shaft, so they got that out. It's over here on the ground, so if you're wondering on that, it was all 15 mil bolts, right guys? Yeah. So 15 mil bolts on the carrier, and then I think there was 4 on where it connects to the differential, and then it was just a slip yoke there. So that is all out. Well, that's that part. And then I think you're just unplugging the plugs right now, right?
Shift cable.
Okay, so shifter cables gonna pop off. We got the one plug there, the main plug, and then I think there's another plug over here I saw. Yeah, so plugged. All right, so and you also notice we got the Banks pan on here. So one nice thing with the Banks pan, we've got a drain right here. I've already got the air scoop off of it, and then we already also have the RevMax cooler bypass. If you guys don't have one of these, I'm not even gonna remind you because you guys have probably seen it all over the internet. Put one of these on, it lowers your fluid temps, and definitely essential in keeping things in check. All right, a little update on the transmission removal. So we dropped the fluid, we used the drain bolt there. So in order to get to the flex plate bolts, there is an access cover right there. So you can just loosen the top one, swing the cover out of the way, and then remove the 6 bolts there. In my case, they were a 14 millimeter. And then we got the fluid draining, and then we should be able to cap it and start getting rid of the rest of it. So we also pushed the converter back just so that it doesn't get stuck on the crank, so that it doesn't fly out and make a mess. So that part's done there. All right, so we took off the pan, the Banks pan, and then we're putting 2 new filters on it. So we got that Mopar filter, and then we already have the RevMax valve body in there, so you can see right there. So, and then we're gonna put brand new OEM filters somewhere on here. There you go, the Mopar. The only thing is, these are plastic inserts, so we're actually gonna take this out. You can watch us do it, but we're gonna be replacing this with a metal insert because these are known to crack, and then if this cracks, falls off into your pan, you lose pressure and then cook your transmission. So good times, but you do want to use at least the good quality grade filters. All right, so you can see here I'm just putting the threaded insert in a vise, and then I should be able to get a grip on it and then turn it off here. There we go. There is like an Allen key insert in that, but this is just an easier way to do it. So there we go. All right, so we just went ahead and threaded the insert. We bottomed it out into there on the long side. That way we can just quick change these filters and the insert stays in the transmission. So we've got our OEM filter here. Now we're gonna tighten it down. Okay, so we've got the transmission out, and then there is the converter that has been causing some issues. So we're gonna go ahead, this is an expensive converter, but it's, like I said, not staying locked up. So we're gonna take it out. We got this pan here because it's probably gonna make a bit of a mess, and we'll see how she goes. Josh is doing the honors.
I'm standing in your face.
Oh, you got it. You turned red. All right, down she goes. Just go down, go down. Here, come in hair if you can. I think the converter weighs more than the transmission. I saw him turn into a red tomato.
That's not an LS converter.
You were not expecting that, were you? Oh, jeez. All right. Well, There she is. So she's up.
When you do that, look at that. All that glitter. Holy.
Looks like we're mixing paint.
It does.
Metallic.
Look at that. It's all pure metallic.
All right, so check out this. Here, you wanted to stir it up, you said first? Here, I'll let you run that. Look at that.
You can write your name in it.
Jeez. All right, now let's see. Can you see what you're done with?
It should look towards the drain.
Oh yeah, you can see it. Not that the, oh yeah. It's almost looks like that brand new Dodge Charger over there. It's got that metallic flake burgundy color. All right, here we go. Now we got another camera on. Okay, go. You can see all the little floaties. This is a clean bucket. Yikes. Do one more time. I'm just trying to zoom in just for fun. Oof. It looks like one of those epoxy floors. All right, new RevMax converter going in. So we've got our Mopar ATF. Josh is filling it up here. He's also got a little trick, that pump in action. Woo, look at him go. How many you got in there so far? 2?
Just the one.
Oh, okay. So we'll see how many she eats, and then we will get it up into the transmission and back into the truck. So there he goes, putting that converter in. You good? Dude, he's haven't heard you, but this trans, you got it?
You slide the trans close to settle.
Yep. Here, I'll bring it to you. How's that?
That's
I think it weighs more than the transmission, to be honest.
I think it weighs more than Josh.
Jeez. All right, we going up with the transmission with the new RevMax converter. All right, let's start bringing it in. All right, hold on. Tip back if you can. So
a little more.
that's as high as I can go. So I think we had to do a little muscle action last time. Oh, there she is. All right, so let me set this camera down. We'll get a couple bolts in it. All right, we got a couple bolts in, so we're good to go there. We got to pull the converter forward, and then we're going to be using the supplied converter bolts too to get this all done. Okay, just a little finishing stuff. So Josh has been just hammering everything out here. So we got the new filters in here, banks pan back on, our gaskets. If you guys don't have one of the reusable ones, I would suggest getting one of those ones. I had a cork one on here before. A shop actually put a cork one on. It leaked almost immediately. Went with the factory style rubber one, and now she's good to go. So he's just getting the torque converter bolts in there. So like I said, there's that access hole through there. Getting that on there, and then we got our drive shaft in. So all those bolts are good. We got the cross member back in, so you do have to take the cross member out, or at least it's easier. Obviously my truck is 2-wheel drive. If yours was 4-wheel drive, it would be, you know, front drive shaft with the transfer case hanging out somewhere in this vicinity, and you'd have to disconnect that too and have a bit more stuff in your way. But don't have to take the starter off necessarily, or this bracket, pretty much just on that side. So yeah, that's about it. I'll update you guys in a minute. All right, so everything is in. Torque converter bolts are all in tight. We got our Banks Ram Air pan on here with the scoop. Everything's looking good, and most importantly, we've got that new RevMax torque converter in there. So we're gonna get it down, get this thing filled up with fluid, and we'll see how she works. But again, we got the bypass, we got the RevMax valve body, and then we've got the RevMax converter, and we got a bunch of other goodies in this thing. Some billet input shaft, upgraded baskets. It's got the works in it. So we'll see how she does now, and take it for a drive once we get it filled up with fluid. All right, we're filling our life away. ATF4, we're only using OEM fluid, so I don't know how many courses it's gonna take because we've got the Banks increased capacity pan on here, so there's gonna be a lot though, and we're gonna fill it up. All right, she alive. Let's back this sucker up.
All right, so it is the next day. We had a long night of getting this thing back together, but she's back together, and we did check the fluid, got the fluid all up to level. What I'm going to do right now is a couple things. On these 5th gen trucks, there's something called the PI curve. A lot of debate online whether to program it, not program it. I don't really know the history on this truck, and it's a used truck. And what I want to do is, while we had the actual pan off, on the side of the torque converter control solenoid, I might be messing that up slightly, but more or less there's a solenoid that controls the torque converter. There's a little QR code. There's actually two. On one side there's a square, and I'll maybe put an image up here. The other side is like a rectangle QR code. If you scan that QR code just with your phone, just download like a QR code app. The native one in the camera doesn't necessarily pick it up. But once you scan that, it's going to give you like, I think like a 40 or 60 something digit code, and you can program that. So you might have to get a special programmer. I'll show you guys the programmer that I'm using on the truck. It's already, came with the truck, but you can actually program the pi curve. So I'm going to program that into that, because there's a certain value and that controls the torque converter. So I've heard it'll throw code. Other people say it, won't throw code, but either way, the valve that's controlling our torque converter, we want to have that dialed in. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to get the truck back up to temperature here. I'm going to do a quick learn on it, and then we'll go for a drive. All right, so I've saved this in my notes, and I want to encourage you guys to do this yourselves too, just in case you ever need to program this. So these are the two QR codes that I was telling you about. That square one isn't the one that you want to scan, but this rectangle one on the opposite side of that solenoid. And then here's the value. I read it with two different, free apps on your phone for QR code readers. Came out the same way. So I'm going to copy this code, and then we're going to go over to the programmer and program it into the truck. All right, so this is the app that I'm using. It's Auto Agent. So we can go over here, and you'll see down here the functions. So if we go to functions, it's going to actually have the spot where we can program the PI curve. So when you go into functions, you're going to see 68RFE trans quick learn, which we are going to do. But if we scroll down, reprogram torque converter PI curve, boom. So there you go. This function will allow the torque converter pi curve to be reprogrammed. We're going to run this. So it says there's two. Select the following scenarios. This feature is responding to torque converter solenoid replacement, transmission replacement. I'm going to do transmission replacement because this thing is fully refreshed at this point. And pardon that Falcon that is going absolutely crazy. You guys can probably hear in the video, but transmission replacement. We're going to go submit, because I haven't done this since putting a valve body, rebuilding the transmission, changing the converter, all that stuff. So submit. And then that barcode number, so let me grab that. So you guys are learning along with me. So I got to do the torque convert, the TCC solenoid replacement, because the other one is getting the QR code from, I guess, the side of the case. So let's do this one, and then this is the 46 digit code. There we go. Beginning procedure, please wait. All right, so there we go. That value is stored successfully. So now I'm gonna start this thing up, let it get up to temperature, double check my fluid, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the 68RFE trans quick learn. All right, so truck is running. It's pretty spicy out here. So you see outside 106. I don't know if I fully believe it, but it's pretty hot outside. Our trans temp, if you can see that, it's already at 91 degrees. So I'd say ambient's around 90 degrees to be truthful, but black truck and it's picking up a lot of heat. So we'll check our fluids, see where we're at. All right, so I'll show you guys where we're at, and then I'll show you kind of my little trick as far as this. First off, whenever you add fluid to this thing, it takes forever to run down the dipstick tube. If I can get this to stop shaking with one hand. So see how the fluid is filled in the holes? A lot of times you'll get like a smear on it and give you a false reading. See how you can see right through those holes? If you don't see the holes full of fluid, then it's just a smear. But if you see the two punched out holes full of fluid, you can pretty much guarantee that the fluid is past that. So we're about halfway on the stick. So we'll go ahead and we'll do a quick learn, and then we'll double check our transmission fluid after everything is up to temp. Okay, so here's the quick learn procedure if you've never done it. So 68 quick learn. It's gonna tell you to set the parking brake. It's probably a good idea. So we'll hit run. It's gonna tell you all the stuff. So we're gonna hit begin. And let me set up the camera here because I'm gonna have to operate the shifter. So it's gonna tell you to, obviously you gotta be pressing on the brakes, put it into drive, put it in neutral, you're gonna hear it rev up. Then it's gonna tell you to put it back in drive. Again, make sure your foot is heavily on the brake. That's it. It'll tell you to put it back in park. It's really a quick learn. It's a super fast process, and now we're ready to drive. So the converter is working way better, but I don't know if you guys will see that like shift flare. I'm pretty sure this transmission is cooked. See that? Like, this thing should be learning a lot faster. I just paid somebody some serious money to rebuild all this, and I think they missed the mark is what happened here. I think we might need the folks at RevMax to help us out on this one. I think this transmission is just not assembled correctly, unfortunately. Watch, let's see. There, it's locking up. It's still slipping. Something's going on with this thing. We got more problems than low fuel, that's for sure. All right, so let's recap and let's assess this situation. What did we learn? Why did we do it? And why did we put a new torque converter in this? So, short story, bought this truck in the fall of last year, and I have had kind of a time buying this used truck. I've had to go through the whole truck front to back. This transmission was originally built by the previous owner by a shop. I got the truck, the transmission was doing something funny, brought it back to the original builder, who I didn't purchase the built transmission through, but spent money with them for them to go through it again and refresh that transmission. I'm not going to name names, it's not what we're here to do here, but I just want to walk you guys through the story on what's going on here. So we got them to refresh it, whatever it takes, transmission, huge shout out to them. They supplied all the parts that we needed to get it done. So I just paid labor, which was still a few grand, to remove the transmission, go through it, make sure it was good to go. We reused, on their recommendation, the original converter that was in there, the billet triple disc, which was from another competitor. We reused the torque converter, which was a billet triple disc from another competitor, on the transmission builder and shop's recommendation. We put that back in, and nothing really felt quite right. I thought it was maybe the transmission tune that was doing it, but here we are today. So it started doing that weird slipping thing, and I thought it was the torque converter slipping. I actually brought the truck to them, had them test drive it, and they confirmed, yes, it feels like the torque converter is slipping. Go ahead and change it. You can pay us to change it, or if you want to change it yourself. So that's what brought us to why we changed it. You might be asking, well, why would you put a brand new torque converter into something that might show signs of wear and tear? I agree with you fully and completely. I thought maybe some of that's, I guess, glitter or whatever we're calling it in the oil was to do with the torque converter, and you know, since everything else was refreshed, we changed the filters, we changed the fluid, cleaned everything out, new torque converter, that we would be good to go. Well, we learned today that was not the case. So what do we do? I think what we need to do is that transmission needs to be gone through. It's got good components in it. We've got the RevMax valve body, we've got the RevMax fluid bypass, we've got the RevMax converter. RevMax does offer several different types of converters. If we're going to be towing, 30,000 pounds plus, which this truck is capable of, I think we're going to end up going with their stage 5 converter. So I kind of wanted to I had that one on deck, that stage 4 that you guys saw we put in there. I had that on deck, and I wanted to see if everything was good to go, and then I was probably going to upgrade to RevMax's stage 5 torque converter. But that's kind of the short of the long. I know that might have seemed like long, but trust me, there's a whole lot to the story on this truck at this point in time. But yeah, I don't think this truck is currently capable of towing. We've got, right now, I should be building the 2026 Dodge Charger for roadkill nights, and I'm messing with this thing. And this truck has to be able to tow our 2026 Dodge Charger for roadkill nights all the way from here in Florida all the way up to Pontiac, Michigan, and it is just not up to the task right now. That transmission would not make it, I can tell you that right now. So we'd definitely be stranded partway there. So I don't know what to do. Comment down below what you guys would do in this situation. Do you go back to the original builder? Do you bail on the original builder? I don't know where this story goes, but I will keep you guys updated. If you guys enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. I'll link the products down below that I think you guys should get and invest in. Some of these RevMax parts are top notch. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a crapshoot when you deal with local shops as far as, you know, rebuilding transmissions and stuff like that. You never really know what you're going to get, which is kind of the case that we're seeing here. What I think we're going to end up doing here is lean on RevMax and get one of their built transmissions, because we know they are huge in the industry. They know what they're doing. They build their own parts for these transmissions, so it only makes sense to get a transmission from somebody that's building parts for these and selling them across the country and probably even internationally. So that's what I think we should do, but comment down below what you guys do in this situation. Like I said, thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.